Hi, I'm Louise. I'm going to be your recovery guide here at One Rebel. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk around the cold and how you get in. We've got a body here, so I'm going to guide through so then you can get an easier way of getting in and you feel a little bit more comfortable. When you get up onto the side of the tub, I always say to take a little breath. So what we're trying to do is just take a full pause. So if you've rushed into the gym and you're coming straight to the plunge, we have like this nice pause before we get in the cold. There's nothing worse than getting into the cold and we're already rushing to get in. So just having a seat up on the side, maybe putting a hand on the belly and a hand on the chest and closing down the eyes. Just taking a nice breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And we're just going to cycle through that for a couple of breaths. If we're breathing in the top of the chest, let's try and push it out to the belly for me. Yeah, that's it. And then just making that exhale nice and slow now. Good, a couple more breaths like that. This gives us a nice pause. What we're trying to do is down-regulate our body, get our heart rate a little bit slower so that when we get in the cold, we know that we can manage the breath to get in. We always get in the cold, or I always say to get in the cold on an exhale. Because if you've ever been in the cold before, our body's normal reaction is to have a bit of a so if we get in on an exhale, that's our first bit of resilience. We take a breath in and we get in on an exhale. One movement down to the shoulders, or you can go to the waist. So if you take a nice breath in, step in, down to here if you run out of breath, take a little pause, take another breath in, and then down to the shoulders again. Makes that you get in control then, and you're already telling the brain that we're in control of the breath when we get in. If you then get in and the breath goes a little bit faster, what happens is we're not going to hold our breath. Our normal reaction is when it gets a bit faster is to be like hold it. We're just going to meet the breath where it's at. It gets a bit faster, our heart rate goes. It's very normal to feel like that. But if it's just like a at first, match it, go where it's at, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get that extended exhale, so a little bit longer, a little bit longer. What you'll feel after that first 20-30 seconds is the body starts to realise that the breath is slowing the body down. So then what will happen is your shoulders will start to relax. You'll start sitting into the breath and then the belly, like down in the cold. And then that time after that, because we have a little timer on the side, go into 30 seconds, a minute and a half. You can push that to 2 minutes, however long you want, but it's a sliding scale of your experience and how long you're sort of going through that. When you get in, you can close the eyes, put the hands in, but trying to get down to the shoulders so we get this nice vagus nerve activation, and then just extend that exhale, extend that exhale. Should we get in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so just put your feet up on the side, don't put them in just yet. And then what we're going to do is again, just start cycling through that breath. So nice breath in, a nice slow exhale. Good. We're going to do 3 of these, get in on the last exhale. So nice breath in, nice slow exhale. We're going to get in on the next exhale, so breath in, and then straight in on that exhale for me. There you go. Breath in, and get in on that exhale. There you go, nice and steady, nice and slow. Good, extend that exhale. Don't worry about the shoulders just yet. Just feel into the breath of the belly. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Good. Good, you might feel your heart rate going, you might feel your breath getting a bit slower now, but just extending that exhale, slowing it down. Trying to get those shoulders under for me. This might speed up the breath again and the heart rate again, I'm sorry. There you go, sitting down, there you go. The breath goes now. But again, trusting the breath, breathing into the belly, slowing that exhale down. We might feel tingles in the hand, in the body generally as our circulation changes. So if you get quite numb feet or hands, if your hands are in, that's very normal. They'll come back when we warm up afterwards. But any sensation, anything like that, we just sort of breathe through it and try and move any tension around. Coming up to just over a minute. Starting to feel the body really sort of slowing down now, but the sensations might be kicking it up a notch. And I'll count you down for the last 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Elbows on the side, and then just shimmying your bum back onto there. Amazing. Swing your legs over, give them a shake. Before you stand up, just giving them a big shake so then you know that they come back to life. And then when you're ready, just coming and having a bit of a movement. Having a jump around, having a move. What we want to do is create a nice circulation flush, so our extremities will be really cold, so we're mixing that blood, but we want to make sure that the body's warming up naturally before we jump back into the heat or cycling through again, but having a real good jump around or sort of doing some air squats, lunges, whatever you feel comfortable. So now that we've got out of the cold and we've sort of like warmed up naturally and sort of created that change, you might feel very tingly, but hopefully you're not feeling lightheaded. If you do feel lightheaded, just have a little extra minute before going back into the heat. What happens sometimes when we're being in the cold, we don't feel the heat as much, so just make sure you're timing that properly and not staying in too long. The cold the next time will probably not feel as cold, but it's still a bit of a challenge, but at least you know you've got that breath to accomplish it and create on your cycles throughout.